Imagine you're alone on a midnight watch, adrift in the endless black of the open sea. Suddenly, your sonar lights up with a signal you've never seen before. A sound so strange, so powerful it chills you to the bone. You call your team, you replay the recording. The sound pulses, rises and fades, echoing from a place no human has ever been. Then silence. The ocean returns to its ancient hush, but you can't shake the feeling that someone was trying to reach you. Tonight we plunge into the abyss to uncover the most baffling, spine-tingling and utterly unsolved deep-sea signals ever recorded. These are not just odd noises, they are riddles that have left the world's top scientists, marine biologists and oceanographers absolutely speechless. From the infamous bloop to mysterious radio transmissions from the Arabian Sea, from signals that seem to move with intelligence to unexplained voices from the deepest trenches, each story will challenge everything you thought you knew about our planet. This isn't just a story about strange sounds, it's a journey into the unknown, where the ocean itself seems to speak, and where every signal is a riddle waiting to be solved. Are you ready to listen? In the summer of 1997, an ultra-low frequency, high-amplitude underwater sound was detected by the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration that would become one of the most famous mysteries in marine science. The sound was so powerful it was picked up by hydrophones, underwater microphones, over 5,000 kilometers apart in the remote South Pacific. NOAA scientists dubbed it the bloop, and for years it would capture the imagination of scientists and conspiracy theorists alike. The bloop's characteristics were unlike anything ever recorded. It lasted approximately 1 minute, rose rapidly in frequency over about 15 seconds, and was so loud that it could be heard across the entire Pacific basin. The sound's profile was consistent with that of a living creature, but if it were biological, the animal would have to be many times larger than a blue whale, the largest known animal on Earth. Dr. Christopher Fox, chief scientist of NOAA's Acoustic Monitoring Project, was among the first to analyse the mysterious signal. The bloop was the most unusual sound we'd ever recorded, Fox later recalled. It had the characteristics of a biological sound, but the amplitude suggested something impossibly large. We were dealing with something that challenged our understanding of marine life. The location of the bloop added to its mystery. Triangulation placed the source in one of the most remote areas of the Pacific Ocean, approximately 160 kilometers west of the southern tip of South America. This region, known as Point Nemo or the oceanic pole of inaccessibility, is the farthest point from any landmass on Earth. The waters here plunge to depths of over 4,000 meters, creating an environment so isolated that astronauts on the International Space Station are often closer to this location than any human on Earth. The timing of the bloop's discovery coincided with the height of public fascination with deep-sea mysteries. The 1990s had seen remarkable discoveries of bizarre deep-sea creatures, from giant tube worms thriving around hydrothermal vents to colossal squids with eyes the size of dinner plates. The idea that something even larger might lurk in the abyss seemed not just possible, but probable. Marine biologists began speculating about what could produce such a sound. Dr. William Watkins, a pioneer in marine bioacoustics at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, suggested that the bloop might represent a new class of marine megafauna. We've only explored about 5% of our oceans, Watkins noted. The deep sea could harbour creatures beyond our current understanding of biology. The speculation reached fever pitch when cryptozoologists suggested the bloop might be evidence of surviving prehistoric marine reptiles or unknown cephalopods of enormous size. The sound's frequency profile was compared to whale songs, but scaled up to match a creature potentially hundreds of meters in length. Popular media seized on these theories, with documentaries and articles exploring the possibility of sea monsters in the deep Pacific. However, as more data accumulated over the following years, scientists began to notice patterns that suggested a different explanation. Similar sounds were recorded in the same general area, and researchers noticed correlations between these acoustic events and seismic activity in Antarctica. The sounds seemed to occur more frequently during the Antarctic summer, when ice movement and calving events were most active. Dr. Robert Jayak, a marine geologist and acoustics expert at NOAA's Pacific Marine Environmental Laboratory, led the investigation that would eventually solve the bloop mystery. We started looking at the timing and location of these sounds in relation to known ice dynamics, Jack explained. The pattern that emerged was quite revealing. The breakthrough came when researchers compared the bloop to sounds produced by massive icebergs calving from Antarctic glaciers. These ice quakes produce acoustic signatures remarkably similar to the bloop, particularly when the ice movements occur underwater or involve the scraping of icebergs against the seafloor. In 2012, NOAA officially announced that the bloop was most likely an ice quake, the sound of a massive iceberg cracking and breaking away from an Antarctic glacier. The sound's biological-like characteristics were explained by the way ice fractures and the acoustic properties of the ocean environment. The bloop was the sound of an ice quake, an iceberg cracking and breaking away from an Antarctic glacier, NOAA explained in their official statement. Yet even with this explanation, some mysteries remain. The exact mechanism by which ice movement could produce such a distinctive and powerful acoustic signature is still not fully understood. The sound's apparent movement through the water, as detected by multiple hydrophone arrays, doesn't perfectly match known patterns of ice drift or seismic wave propagation. Dr. Julia Gunn, a marine acoustics researcher at the University of Washington, remains cautious about declaring the bloop completely solved. While the ice explanation is the most plausible, there are still aspects of the signal that don't perfectly fit our models of ice dynamics, she notes. The ocean is full of acoustic phenomena we don't fully understand. The bloop has also raised important questions about our monitoring capabilities and the sounds we might be missing. The hydrophone network that detected the bloop was originally designed to monitor nuclear weapons testing, not biological or geological phenomena. This has led to increased interest in developing dedicated acoustic monitoring systems for marine research. Recent advances in underwater acoustics have revealed that the ocean is far noisier than previously thought. Sounds from shipping, seismic surveys, military sonar, and natural phenomena create a complex acoustic landscape that can mask or distort other signals. This acoustic pollution makes it increasingly difficult to detect and analyze unusual sounds like the bloop. The legacy of the bloop extends beyond its scientific significance. It has become a cultural phenomenon, inspiring everything from internet memes to science fiction stories. The sound has been featured in documentaries, podcasts, and educational materials as an example of how scientific mysteries can capture public imagination and drive research. More importantly, the bloop has highlighted the vast gaps in our knowledge of the deep ocean. Despite decades of exploration, we have mapped less than 20% of the ocean floor in detail, and our understanding of deep-sea acoustics remains limited. Every unusual sound detected in the abyss reminds us that the ocean still holds secrets we have yet to discover. The bloop also demonstrates the importance of long-term acoustic monitoring. The sound was detected because hydrophones happened to be in the right place at the right time, recording continuously. Many other unusual sounds may have occurred in remote ocean areas where no monitoring equipment exists, leaving their mysteries forever unsolved. As we continue to develop more sophisticated underwater listening networks, scientists expect to detect more unusual acoustic phenomena. The challenge will be distinguishing between known sources, ice, earthquakes, marine life, human activity, and truly anomalous signals that might represent new discoveries. To this day, the bloop remains a symbol of the ocean's hidden mysteries and the power of scientific investigation to solve them. While the mystery may be largely resolved, it serves as a reminder that the deep sea continues to surprise us, and that some of the most extraordinary discoveries can come from simply listening to what the ocean has to tell us. In 2021, scientists from the University of Liverpool made a discovery that would redefine our understanding of how oceans can produce sound. While studying sea level changes and pressure variations in the Arabian Sea, they stumbled upon something extraordinary. A massive whistle, so powerful it could be detected from space, yet so low in frequency that human ears cannot perceive it. Dr. Chris Hughes, the lead researcher on the project, was initially studying the Caribbean's role in global ocean circulation when his models began showing inexplicable pressure oscillations. We were looking at ocean pressure through models for quite different reasons, and this region just didn't work, Hughes explained. It felt like a sore thumb. The Caribbean Sea, bounded by the Greater and Lesser Antilles, acts as a crucial component in the global ocean conveyor belt that drives climate patterns worldwide. Warm water flows into the Caribbean from the Atlantic, circulates through the basin, and eventually feeds into the Gulf Stream. This circulation is vital for regulating temperatures across the North Atlantic and Western Europe. But Hughes and his team discovered that this circulation was doing something unexpected. It was singing. The phenomenon they uncovered was a Rossby wave, a type of planetary wave that travels westward across ocean basins. These waves are driven by the rotation of the Earth and variations in the Coriolis effect, and they play crucial roles in ocean and atmospheric circulation. However, what made the Caribbean Rossby wave unique was how it interacted with the basin's geography. As the Rossby wave travels west across the Atlantic and enters the Arabian Sea, it encounters the complex topography of the basin, underwater ridges, seamounts, and the varying depths of the Caribbean floor. This interaction creates a resonance effect similar to how air blown across the mouth of a bottle produces a whistle. We can compare the ocean activity in the Arabian Sea to that of a whistle, Hughes elaborated. When you blow into a whistle, the jet of air becomes unstable and excites the resonant sound wave which fits into the whistle cavity. Because the whistle is open, the sound radiates out so you can hear it. Similarly, an ocean current flowing through the Arabian Sea becomes unstable and excites a resonance of a rather strange kind of ocean wave called a Rossby wave. The scale of this oceanic whistle is almost incomprehensible. The note it produces is an A-flat, but pitched approximately 30 octaves below the lowest note on a piano. To make it audible to human ears, researchers had to speed up the recording by a factor of several thousand. Even then, the whistle sounds alien and otherworldly, like the breathing of some vast sleeping leviathan. What makes this discovery even more remarkable is that the whistle can be detected from space. The oscillating pressure waves created by the Rossby resonance are so powerful that they actually cause measurable variations in Earth's gravitational field. Satellites equipped with sensitive gravitometers can detect these tiny fluctuations, allowing scientists to hear the ocean's song from orbit. The Rossby whistle operates on a 120-day cycle. The wave travels west across the Caribbean, disappears as it exits the basin, and then reappears 120 days later as a new wave enters from the east. This creates a continuous rhythmic pattern that has likely been occurring for thousands of years, undetected by human science until now. Dr. Sarah Giller, an oceanographer at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography who was not involved in the discovery, called it a beautiful example of how the ocean can surprise us. She noted that this kind of large-scale resonance shows us that the ocean is not just a passive body of water, but an active, dynamic system with its own voice. The implications of the Rossby whistle extend far beyond its novelty as an oceanic musical instrument. The resonance affects the flow of the Caribbean current and, by extension, the entire North Atlantic circulation system. Understanding this phenomenon could improve climate models and help predict changes in ocean circulation patterns. The discovery also raises questions about whether similar oceanic whistles exist in other parts of the world. The Caribbean's unique geography, a semi-enclosed basin with specific depth characteristics and current patterns, creates ideal conditions for this type of resonance. However, other ocean basins might harbour their own acoustic phenomena. Researchers are now investigating whether the Mediterranean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, or other semi-enclosed basins might produce similar sounds. The challenge is that detecting these ultra-low frequency signals requires sophisticated equipment and long-term monitoring. Many oceanic songs might be occurring right now, unheard and undetected. The Rossby whistle also highlights the interconnected nature of Earth's systems. A wave generated by planetary rotation and solar heating creates a sound that can be detected from space, influences global climate patterns, and represents a form of communication between the ocean and the atmosphere that we're only beginning to understand. From a technological perspective, the discovery demonstrates the power of combining different types of data. The Liverpool team used ocean models, satellite gravity measurements, and acoustic analysis to piece together the puzzle of the Caribbean whistle. This interdisciplinary approach is becoming increasingly important in oceanography as researchers tackle complex, large-scale phenomena. The whistle also serves as a reminder of the ocean's ancient voice. This sound has likely been resonating through the Caribbean for millennia, long before humans developed the technology to detect it. Indigenous peoples of the Caribbean islands may have sensed something unusual about their seas, perhaps feeling vibrations or noticing subtle patterns in wave behaviour, without understanding the underlying acoustic phenomenon. Climate change adds another layer of significance to the discovery. As global temperatures rise and ocean circulation patterns shift, the Rossby whistle might change in frequency, intensity, or timing. Monitoring these changes could provide early warning signs of major shifts in the Atlantic circulation system, including potential disruptions to the Gulf Stream. The research team is now working to understand how the whistle might be affected by sea level rise, changing wind patterns, and alterations in ocean temperature and salinity. These factors could all influence the resonance characteristics of the Caribbean basin and the behaviour of Rossby waves. The Rossby whistle represents a new frontier in oceanographic research, the study of large-scale oceanic acoustics. Unlike the biological sounds of the whales or the geological sounds of earthquakes, this is the sound of the ocean's physical structure itself, the acoustic signature of planetary-scale fluid dynamics. As our monitoring capabilities improve, scientists expect to discover more examples of oceanic music, sounds produced by the interaction of currents, topography, and planetary forces. Each discovery adds to our understanding of the ocean as a complex, interconnected system that operates on scales from microscopic to planetary. The Caribbean's cosmic song continues to play, a deep bass note in the symphony of Earth's climate system. For researchers like Hughes, it represents both a solved mystery and a gateway to new questions about the hidden voices of our planet's oceans. In 2016, amateur radio operators in Mumbai began picking up something that would baffle authorities and spark an investigation reaching the highest levels of the Indian government. For months, mysterious radio transmissions had been emanating from the Arabian Sea, signals that violated international radio protocols, spoke in unidentifiable languages, and seemed to originate from empty ocean. Hankar Puranik, spokesperson for ham radio operators Mumbai, first noticed the anomalous signals during routine monitoring of their allocated frequency bands. We have written to the Wireless Advisor, Ministry of Telecommunications and IT, with copies to the PMO, other ministries, and top defence and police officials to take note and investigate these unknown signals, Puranik told reporters. The signals were unlike anything the experienced radio operators had encountered. They appeared on the VHF band between 144 to 146 MHz, frequencies specifically allocated for amateur radio use. But these transmissions violated every protocol of amateur radio operation. They carried no call signs, the mandatory identification codes that allow any radio operator worldwide to be tracked and identified. The voices spoke in languages that linguists couldn't identify, using patterns and phonemes that didn't match any known human language. Most disturbing of all was their origin. Using direction-finding equipment and sophisticated antenna arrays, the Mumbai operators triangulated the source to approximately 100 nautical miles off the Maharashtra-Gujarat coast in the deep waters of the Arabian Sea. Maritime authorities confirmed that no vessels were registered in that area during the times of transmission. The Arabian Sea, part of the northwestern Indian Ocean, is one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, connecting the Persian Gulf oil fields with global markets. The idea that unidentified radio transmissions could originate from this strategically sensitive region raised immediate security concerns. Was this evidence of foreign surveillance, submarine activity, or something even more mysterious? Dr. Rajesh Khurana, a radio frequency specialist at the Indian Institute of Technology Mumbai, was brought in to analyse the signals. The transmission showed characteristics that were highly unusual, Khurana explained. The frequency stability was too precise for amateur equipment, but the modulation patterns didn't match any known military or commercial systems. The signals followed a pattern that suggested intelligence rather than random noise. They occurred at regular intervals, typically during nighttime hours when atmospheric conditions favour long-distance radio propagation. The transmissions lasted between 30 seconds and several minutes, with periods of silence that seemed deliberately timed. Linguistic analysis of the recorded transmissions proved equally puzzling. Dr. Priya Hosali, a professor of linguistics at Mumbai University, spent weeks analysing the phonetic patterns. The vocalizations contained sounds that are extremely rare in human languages, she reported. Some of the phonemes don't exist in any documented language family. It's as if the speakers were using a completely artificial linguistic system. The investigation expanded to include India's naval intelligence, Coast Guard, and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority. Patrol vessels were dispatched to the coordinates where the signals originated, but found only empty ocean. Underwater sonar sweeps detected no submarines or submerged objects. Satellite imagery showed no surface vessels in the area during transmission times. International maritime authorities were consulted, but no nation claimed responsibility for the transmissions. The signals didn't match the acoustic signatures of any known naval vessels, research ships, or commercial platforms. Even more puzzling, the transmissions seemed to move. Direction-finding equipment suggested the source was mobile, travelling at speeds inconsistent with any known surface vessel or submarine. As months passed, the signals evolved. Early transmissions were relatively simple, repeated phrases or sequences that suggested testing or calibration. Later signals became more complex, with multiple voices engaging in what sounded like conversations or coordinated activities. The linguistic patterns became more sophisticated, suggesting either learning or the gradual implementation of a more complex communication protocol. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, a marine acoustics expert at the National Institute of Oceanography, proposed an alternative explanation. We might be dealing with a previously unknown form of oceanic acoustic phenomenon, he suggested. The deep Arabian Sea contains numerous underwater canyons, seamounts, and geological formations that could create unusual acoustic effects. Sarabhai's theory centered on the possibility that natural oceanic processes, perhaps involving underwater landslides, gas seeps, or unusual current interactions, could create sounds that, when processed through the complex acoustic environment of the deep sea, might emerge at the surface as radio-frequency electromagnetic radiation. While this explanation seemed far-fetched, similar phenomena had been documented in other parts of the world. The mystery deepened when similar signals were reported by radio operators in other countries. Amateur radio enthusiasts in Oman, Pakistan, and even as far away as Madagascar reported picking up transmissions with similar characteristics. The signals seemed to be propagating across vast distances, suggesting either multiple sources or a single source with extraordinary transmission power. Security implications of the Arabian Sea signals extended beyond India's borders. The region is home to critical shipping lanes, underwater communication cables, and military installations of multiple nations. Any unidentified radioactivity in these waters could potentially interfere with navigation systems, military communications, or commercial shipping operations. The investigation took an unexpected turn when researchers discovered that the signals exhibited characteristics of adaptive frequency hopping, a sophisticated technique used in military and intelligence communications to avoid detection and jamming. The transmissions would suddenly shift frequencies, change modulation patterns, or alter timing sequences in ways that suggested active monitoring of the radio environment. It was as if the signals were aware they were being monitored and were actively trying to evade analysis, noted Captain Ravi Sharma, a retired naval communications officer who consulted on the investigation. This level of sophistication suggested either very advanced human technology or something operating according to principles we don't understand. By late 2016, the signals began to fade. Transmissions became less frequent, shorter in duration, and eventually stopped altogether. The last confirmed detection occurred in December 2016, after which the Arabian Sea returned to normal radio silence. No explanation was ever found for their cessation. The official investigation concluded without determining the source of the signals. Government reports, heavily redacted when released to the public, acknowledged that unidentified radio transmissions of unknown origin were detected in the Arabian Sea region, but provided no explanation for their source or purpose. The Arabian Sea mystery signals remain one of the most puzzling radio phenomena of recent years. They demonstrated characteristics that challenged our understanding of both radio propagation and oceanic acoustics. The signals' apparent intelligence, linguistic complexity, and sophisticated communication protocols suggested either highly advanced human technology operating in secret or something even more extraordinary. For the amateur radio operators who first detected them, the signals represent a reminder that our planet still holds mysteries that can emerge from the most unexpected places. The ocean, which covers more than 70% of Earth's surface, remains largely unexplored and poorly understood. The possibility that unknown phenomena, whether technological, biological, or geological, might be operating in the deep sea continues to intrigue researchers and mystery enthusiasts alike. The Arabian Sea signals also highlight the important role that amateur radio operators play in monitoring our electromagnetic environment. These dedicated hobbyists, with their sensitive equipment and careful attention to unusual phenomena, often serve as the first line of detection for anomalous signals that might otherwise go unnoticed by official monitoring systems. As radio technology continues to evolve and our monitoring capabilities improve, scientists and security officials remain alert for similar phenomena. The Arabian Sea mystery serves as a reminder that in our interconnected, electronically monitored world, there are still signals being transmitted that we cannot explain, from sources we cannot identify, carrying messages we cannot decode. In 2016, researchers from Oregon State University's Hatfield Marine Science Center deployed a titanium-encased hydrophone into the deepest part of Earth's oceans, the Challenger, deep in the Mariana Trench. What they expected to find was silence. What they discovered instead was a cacophony of sounds so strange and otherworldly that they were described as alien-like. The Mariana Trench, located in the western Pacific Ocean, plunges to depths of over 11 kilometers below sea level. At these crushing depths, where pressure exceeds 1,000 times that at the sea level, scientists long assumed that the environment would be too hostile for complex acoustic phenomena. The deployment of sensitive recording equipment to these depths was a technological marvel in itself, requiring specialized pressure-resistant housings and months of careful planning. Dr. Robert Jayak, the lead researcher on the project, was initially interested in detecting earthquakes and volcanic activity in the deepest parts of the ocean. We expected to hear some geological sounds, maybe earthquakes or the movement of tectonic plates, Jayak explained. What we didn't expect was the sheer variety and strangeness of the sounds we recorded. The hydrophone, deployed at a depth of then 94 meters, recorded continuously for 3 weeks. When researchers analysed the data, they discovered a soundscape unlike anything previously documented. Among the expected sounds, distant earthquakes, the calls of baleen whales from far above, and the rumble of passing ships were signals that defied easy explanation. The most mysterious of these was a sound the researchers dubbed the Western Pacific biotwang. This signal consisted of a distinctive 38 Hz moan, followed by a metallic-sounding frequency sweeps that rose to 7.5 kHz. The sound was unlike any known whale call, yet it had characteristics suggesting biological origin. Most puzzling was its timing. The biotwang was recorded throughout the year, not just during typical whale mating seasons. The biotwang doesn't fit the pattern of any known marine mammal, noted to Sharon Newkirk, a marine bioacoustics expert who analysed the recordings. The frequency range, the metallic quality of the sweeps, and the year-round occurrence all suggest we might be dealing with an unknown species or an entirely new type of acoustic phenomenon. The metallic quality of the sounds was particularly intriguing. While many marine animals produce complex vocalizations, the mechanical, almost robotic nature of some Mariana Trench recordings suggested either highly sophisticated biological sound production mechanisms or non-biological sources. Some researchers speculated about the possibility of unknown geological processes creating these sounds. Dr. Julia Gunn, a marine geologist not involved in the original study, proposed that the metallic sounds might result from the interaction of extreme pressure with the trench's unique geological features. At these depths, we're dealing with pressures and conditions that don't exist anywhere else on Earth, she explained. It's possible that rock formations, mineral deposits, or even the movement of sediments could create acoustic signatures we've never encountered before. The Oregon State team also recorded sounds they described as robotic pulses, regular rhythmic signals that seemed too precise and organized to be natural. These pulses occurred in sequences, with patterns that suggested either complex biological communication or mechanical origin. The regularity of the pulses was reminiscent of sonar or other artificial signals, but no human technology was known to be operating at such depths. Analysis of the pulse patterns revealed mathematical relationships that intrigued researchers. The intervals between pulses followed sequences that some scientists compared to prime numbers or Fibonacci progressions. While this could be coincidental, the apparent mathematical precision raised questions about the intelligence behind these signals. When you hear these sounds, especially the robotic pulses, it's hard to escape the feeling that something is trying to communicate, admitted Diak. Whether that something is a highly intelligent marine animal, an unknown geological process, or something else entirely we simply don't know, the discovery of complex acoustic phenomena in the Mariana Trench challenged assumptions about life in extreme environments. While scientists had previously discovered thriving ecosystems around hydrothermal vents and in other deep-sea environments, The idea that sophisticated acoustic communication might be occurring at such depths was revolutionary. The trench's unique environment could potentially support forms of life adapted to extreme pressure and darkness. Some researchers speculated about the possibility of large intelligent cephalopods, relatives of octopi and squid, that might have evolved complex communication systems. The metallic quality of some sounds could result from specialized organs adapted to the high-pressure environment. Dr. Edith Widder, a deep-sea biologist and expert on bioluminescence, suggested that the Mariana Trench sounds might represent a form of acoustic bioluminescence. Biological sound production evolved for communication in an environment where light-based signals are impossible. In the absolute darkness of the deep ocean, sound becomes the primary means of long-distance communication, she noted. The international scientific community responded to the Mariana Trench recordings with both excitement and skepticism. While the sounds were undeniably real and recorded under controlled conditions, their interpretation remained highly controversial. Some researchers argued for more conventional explanations, suggesting that the alien sounds might result from previously unknown but entirely natural processes. Dr. Christopher Clark, a bioacoustics expert at Cornell University, cautioned against jumping to extraordinary conclusions. The ocean is full of sounds we don't understand, he noted. Every time we deploy new listening technology in unexplored environments, we discover acoustic phenomena that initially seem mysterious but eventually yield to scientific explanation. However, the Mariana Trench recordings differed from previous mysterious ocean sounds in their complexity and apparent organization. Unlike random geological sounds or simple biological calls, these signals showed patterns suggesting sophisticated information content. The mathematical relationships in the pulse sequences, the complex frequency modulations of the biotwang, and the metallic quality of many sounds all pointed to phenomena more complex than typical ocean acoustics. Follow-up expeditions to the Mariana Trench have recorded additional unusual sounds, some similar to the original discoveries and others entirely new. A 2018 deployment recorded what researchers described as harmonic sequences, sounds that seemed to build upon each other in musical progressions. These sequences lasted for hours and showed variations that suggested either learning or adaptation. The technological challenges of studying the deepest ocean have limited researchers' ability to investigate these phenomena thoroughly. The extreme pressure, corrosive environment, and vast distances involved make it difficult to deploy the sophisticated equipment needed for detailed acoustic analysis. Most recordings are made by autonomous systems that operate for weeks or months without human intervention. Recent advances in deep-sea technology have opened new possibilities for investigating the Mariana Trench mysteries. Autonomous underwater vehicles equipped with advanced acoustic sensors, high-definition cameras, and sampling equipment are beginning to provide more comprehensive data about the deepest ocean environments. The search for explanations has also led to international collaboration. Research teams from the United States, Japan, China, and other nations are sharing data and coordinating deployments to better understand the acoustic environment of the world's deepest trenches. The Mariana Trench has become a natural laboratory for studying extreme environment acoustics. As research continues, the alien sounds of the Mariana Trench serve as a reminder of how little we know about our own planet. Deepest parts of the ocean remain more mysterious than the surface of Mars, and every new discovery challenges our assumptions about life, communication, and the limits of the possible. Whether the strange sounds ultimately prove to be unknown biological phenomena, previously undiscovered geological processes, or something even more extraordinary, they represent one of the most intriguing acoustic mysteries of our time. In the crushing depths of the Mariana Trench, something is making sounds that challenge our understanding of what's possible in Earth's most extreme environments. Since 1991, hydrophones in the Pacific Ocean have been detecting one of the most persistent and puzzling sounds in the deep sea, a phenomenon scientists call the upsweep. Unlike other mysterious ocean sounds that occur once and disappear, the upsweep is ongoing, seasonal, and has been changing gradually over more than 3 decades of observation. The upsweep consists of a series of narrow-band, upsweeping sounds that occur most prominently during spring and autumn. The sounds rise in frequency over several seconds, creating an effect reminiscent of a siren or whistle, but pitched far below human hearing. The source has been triangulated to the equatorial Pacific, but despite decades of investigation, no one has ever identified what creates these haunting calls from the deep. Dr. Christopher Fox of NOAA's Pacific Marine Environmental Laboratory first documented the upsweep as part of the same hydrophone network that detected the bloop. The upsweep was different from other sounds we were recording, Fox explained. It wasn't a single event, it was persistent, regular, and it seemed to have its own rhythm and pattern. What makes the upsweep particularly intriguing is its seasonal nature. The sounds are most prominent during spring and autumn months, suggesting a connection to some cyclical process. This seasonality has led researchers to investigate various hypotheses, from geological processes linked to tectonic activity to biological phenomena related to marine life cycles. The frequency characteristics of the upsweep are unlike those of any known marine animal. While whales and other marine mammals produce complex vocalizations, their calls typically have different frequency patterns and durations. The upsweep's narrow band rising frequency signature is more consistent with mechanical or geological processes than biological ones. Just Robert Jack, who has studied the upsweep for over 2 decades, notes that the sound has evolved over time. When we first started recording the upsweep in the early 90s, it was much more prominent and occurred more frequently, Jack observed. Over the years, it has gradually decreased in intensity and changed in character, which gives us clues about its possible origin. The gradual changes in the upsweep have led some researchers to suspect a geological source. Underwater volcanic activity, the movement of magma beneath the seafloor, or the gradual release of gases from hydrothermal vents could all potentially create sounds that change over time as geological conditions evolve. The equatorial Pacific, where the upsweep originates, is geologically active, with numerous underwater volcanoes, hydrothermal vents, and tectonic features. The region is part of the Ring of Fire, the zone of intense seismic and volcanic activity that surrounds the Pacific Ocean. This geological context makes volcanic or tectonic explanations for the upsweep seem plausible. However, the sound's regularity and seasonal patterns don't perfectly match known geological processes. Volcanic activity tends to be episodic and unpredictable, while the upsweep follows patterns that suggest more regular cyclical processes. This has led some researchers to consider alternative explanations. Dr. Kate Stafford, a marine biologist at Oregon State University, has investigated the possibility that the upsweep might be related to unknown biological phenomena. The seasonal patterns could indicate some form of biological activity, Stafford suggests. Perhaps it's related to migration patterns, feeding cycles, or reproductive behaviours of deep-sea organisms we haven't yet identified. The deep equatorial Pacific is home to diverse ecosystems, including deep-sea coral reefs, hydrothermal vent communities, and vast populations of marine organisms adapted to extreme conditions. Some of these organisms might produce sounds as part of their life cycles, communication systems, or feeding behaviours. One intriguing possibility is that the upsweep might be related to the movement of deep-sea organisms in response to seasonal changes in ocean conditions. The equatorial Pacific experiences significant seasonal variations in temperature, current patterns, and nutrient availability. These changes could trigger mass movements or behaviours in deep-sea populations that might produce acoustic signatures. The mystery of the upsweep has been complicated by changes in the ocean's acoustic environment over the past 3 decades. Increased shipping traffic, seismic surveys for oil exploration, and military sonar activities have all contributed to rising levels of underwater noise pollution. This acoustic pollution can mask natural sounds and make it difficult to detect and analyse phenomena like the upsweep. Dr. Sylvia Earle, the renowned oceanographer and marine conservationist, has noted that the ocean is becoming increasingly noisy due to human activities. Sounds that might have been clearly audible decades ago are now being drowned out by the constant rumble of ship engines and industrial activities. The gradual decrease in the upsweep's intensity over time might reflect this changing acoustic environment rather than changes in the source itself. Alternatively, it could indicate that whatever process creates the upsweep is itself changing or diminishing over time. Recent technological advances have provided new tools for investigating the upsweep. Autonomous underwater vehicles equipped with sophisticated acoustic sensors can now be deployed for extended periods in the source region, providing more detailed and continuous monitoring than was previously possible. In 2019, a joint expedition by researchers from several institutions deployed a network of acoustic sensors in the equatorial Pacific specifically to study the upsweep. The data collected during this expedition revealed new details about the sound's characteristics and provided clues about its possible origin. We discovered that the upsweep is actually more complex than we initially thought, reported Dr. Jennifer Mixis-Olds, who led the acoustic analysis. There are multiple frequency components, subtle variations in timing, and patterns that suggest the source might be more dynamic than a simple geological process. The new data also revealed that the upsweep sometimes occurs in sequences or clusters, with multiple upsweeping sounds occurring in rapid succession. These patterns suggest either multiple sources operating in coordination or a single source capable of producing complex acoustic sequences. Climate change has added another dimension to the upsweep mystery. As ocean temperatures rise and current patterns shift, the conditions that create the upsweep might be changing. Some researchers speculate that the sound's gradual decrease in intensity might be related to changing ocean conditions rather than the natural evolution of its source. The upsweep has also become a subject of interest for researchers studying the effects of climate change on ocean acoustics. Changes in water temperature, salinity, and current patterns can all affect how sound travels through the ocean, potentially altering the characteristics of natural acoustic phenomena. International collaboration has been crucial in studying the upsweep. The sound can be detected by hydrophone networks operated by multiple countries, and sharing data between these networks has provided a more complete picture of the phenomenon. This collaboration has also revealed that similar sounds might be occurring in other parts of the world's oceans. The persistence of the upsweep over more than 3 decades makes it one of the longest-running acoustic mysteries in oceanography. Unlike single-event phenomena like the bloop, the upsweep provides researchers with ongoing opportunities to study and analyze its characteristics, potentially leading to eventual identification of its source. As monitoring technology continues to improve and our understanding of deep-sea processes expands, scientists remain optimistic that the upsweep mystery will eventually be solved. However, the sound serves as a reminder of how much we still don't know about the ocean's acoustic environment and the processes that create the sounds of the deep. The upsweep continues to rise from the depths of the Pacific, a persistent voice from the abyss that has been calling for over 30 years. Whether it represents an unknown geological process, an undiscovered biological phenomenon, or something else entirely, it remains one of the ocean's most enduring mysteries, a sound that refuses to be silenced or explained. As we surface from our journey through the most haunting and unexplained acoustic mysteries of the deep sea, we find ourselves changed by what we've heard. These are not just stories of strange sounds echoing through the abyss. They are reminders that our planet still holds secrets that challenge our understanding of the natural world and our place within it. From the bloop's earth-shaking moan to the Caribbean's cosmic whistle, from the Arabian Sea's mysterious radio transmissions to the alien sounds of the Mariana Trench, each signal we've explored tonight represents a crack in our certainty about what we know and what we think is possible. These sounds emerge from the deepest, most remote places on Earth, carrying messages we cannot decode and originating from sources we cannot identify. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet's surface, yet we have explored less than 5% of its depths. In this vast, largely unknown realm, pressure can crush steel, darkness is absolute, and life exists in forms that challenge our imagination. It is a world where the normal rules of physics and biology are pushed to their limits, where new discoveries await around every underwater mountain and in every abyssal plain. What makes these acoustic mysteries particularly compelling is their persistence. Unlike fleeting phenomena that appear once and vanish, many of these sounds continue to echo through the deep sea, waiting for us to develop the technology and understanding necessary to explain them. The upsweep has been calling from the Pacific for over 30 years. The Rossby whistle has likely been resonating through the Caribbean for millennia. These are not accidents or anomalies, they are ongoing processes that represent fundamental aspects of our planet's behaviour. The investigation of these mysteries has driven remarkable advances in underwater acoustics, deep-sea exploration technology, and our understanding of ocean processes. The hydrophone networks originally designed to monitor nuclear weapons testing have revealed a hidden world of ocean sounds. Satellites designed to study Earth's gravity field have allowed us to hear the planet's largest musical instruments. Amateur radio operators have become the first line of defense against unknown signals from the deep. Each mystery solved has led to new questions and new mysteries. The explanation of the bloop as an ice quake opened up the new areas of research into ice dynamics and polar acoustics. The discovery of the Rossby whistle has revealed previously unknown aspects of large-scale ocean circulation. The Arabian Sea radio signals have highlighted gaps in our understanding of electromagnetic phenomena in marine environments, but perhaps the most important lesson from these acoustic mysteries is humility. Despite our advanced technology, sophisticated monitoring systems, and centuries of scientific investigation, the ocean continues to surprise us. Every deployment of new listening equipment, every analysis of acoustic data, every expedition to unexplored depths reveals phenomena that we didn't expect and often cannot explain. The sounds we've explored tonight also remind us that the ocean is not a silent, empty space, but a vibrant, dynamic environment filled with voices we are only beginning to understand. The deep sea communicates through sound in ways that span the spectrum from the infrasonic calls of great whales to the ultrasonic clicks of hunting dolphins, from the grinding of tectonic plates to the whisper of currents over seafloor sediments. As our planet faces unprecedented environmental challenges, these acoustic mysteries take on new significance. Climate change is altering ocean temperatures, chemistry and circulation patterns in ways that could affect the generation and propagation of these mysterious sounds. The upsweep's gradual decrease in intensity might be an early indicator of changing ocean conditions. The Rossby whistle's frequency could shift as Caribbean circulation patterns evolve. The increasing noise pollution in our oceans, from shipping, seismic surveys, military sonar and industrial activities, threatens to drown out the natural acoustic environment that has existed for millions of years. Some of the mysterious sounds we've detected might already be disappearing, masked by the growing cacophony of human-generated noise. This makes the work of acoustic researchers more urgent than ever. We are in a race against time to document and understand the ocean's natural soundscape before it is irreversibly altered by human activities. Every mysterious sound detected, every acoustic phenomenon documented, adds to our knowledge of how the ocean functions as an integrated system. The technologies we've developed to investigate these mysteries, sensitive hydrophones, autonomous underwater vehicles, satellite-based acoustic detection systems, are also revealing the extent to which human activities are changing the ocean's acoustic environment. This knowledge is crucial for developing strategies to protect marine ecosystems and preserve the ocean's natural voice. Looking toward the future, we can expect new acoustic mysteries to emerge as our monitoring capabilities expand and improve. Planned deployments of global underwater acoustic networks will provide unprecedented coverage of the world's oceans. Advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning will help us identify patterns and anomalies in acoustic data that might escape human analysis. The search for life beyond Earth has also given new relevance to the study of mysterious ocean sounds. If we hope to recognize signs of intelligence in signals from space, we must first understand the full range of acoustic phenomena that can occur in our own planet's most alien environment, the deep sea. As we conclude our exploration of these unsolved acoustic mysteries, we're left with a profound sense of wonder at the complexity and mystery of our own planet. The sounds we've heard tonight, from the mechanical precision of the Mariana Trench pulses to the haunting beauty of the Caribbean whistle, remind us that Earth itself is still speaking to us in languages we don't understand. The ocean's voice is ancient, powerful, and persistent. It has been calling to us across the millennia, waiting for us to develop the ears to hear and the wisdom to listen. In every mysterious sound that rises from the depths, in every unexplained signal that crosses our hydrophones, the sea is telling us that there is still so much to discover, so much to learn, and so much to protect. So the next time you stand at the ocean's edge, remember that beneath the surface, in the crushing depths where no human has ever ventured, the sea is singing songs we have yet to learn, speaking in voices we have yet to understand, and holding secrets we have yet to discover. The ocean is not silent. It is simply waiting for us to listen more carefully to what it has been trying to tell us all along.